Welcome to Real Talk at LSNB. I'm Julian Alvarez and I'm your host today. And today we're joined by a special guest, Matthew Dang, who serves as our Senior Vice President, Division Manager for our mortgage department. So welcome, Matthew, to today's podcast.
Great. Thank you, Julian, for having me today.
So it's interesting because you and I have been working here almost to the same day. We've been here I think a little over 2 years now, right?
Yeah, a little over 2 years.
It went by fast, right?
Yeah, it has.
Better say that, Matt. You better say that. No, it has. And it's been a privilege. And actually, it's been fun working with you. I've had an opportunity to go to some of the open houses with you, and I've learned a lot more about mortgages and lenders and how we all play a role. And I've been on the receiving end. So thank you for that. You were very, you made the purchasing of my home very easy. And so I appreciate that and your staff.
You're very welcome.
So good. So today we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the programs that LSNB is offering and some of the things that Matthew and his division have been spearheading. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into today's discussion, Matt, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
So I got a list of questions.
Sure.
And like I said, you and I have had these discussions in the past. And just recently we were in San Antonio because you also oversee the mortgage department or division up in San Antonio. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah, so we serve the Valley. You know, obviously we have a big presence here, but the other market is San Antonio, which if you look at that market, it's an enormous opportunity. And it's really about community and then helping, as many families get into a home as possible. So here in the Valley and then San Antonio.
Great. So let me ask you, Matt, when we were in San Antonio recently, you talked about the various programs you have. We were talking about affordable housing. I know that you spearheaded the doctor loan programs here in South Texas. So I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about that. But I wanted to start off with the HELP program. So can you tell us a little bit about the HELP program and what it stands for?
Yeah, that's a great question, Julian. It's something that I have a passion for. And it is really it's a down payment assistance program. But what is different about this program, it's free. It's basically free money. If you qualify for this particular program, you're able to get $25,000 in down payment assistance towards the down payment of a house or closing costs. And if there's extra money left from the grant, we can use that money to buy the rate down to make it even more affordable for families. So the HELP program stands for Home Equity Leverage Partnership, which is a program that we partner up with the Home Loan Bank of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas. And so every year we renew it. And this year we were awarded $850,000. And so we want to be able to use every penny of the $850,000 that was awarded to help families get into a home. And per individual family, it's $25,000. And so even though there is a deed restriction, which means you have to stay in the home for 5 years, it's basically free grant money that you can use towards the down payment of a house.
So what would you recommend? How would they approach you? Do they go to your office? I know you have offices not only at the branches, but we have a main office. But can someone go online and look for this information on this HELP program?
Yeah, so what's great about what we have to offer is not only in this day and age, we have, you can go online to our website. We can send you a link so you can apply at your leisure. Or you can visit one of our many branches that we have in the Valley as well as in San Antonio and say, hey, I have an interest in a mortgage. And then we'll get you in touch with one of our highly trusted mortgage loan advisors, and they'll walk you through the process to get you see if you qualify for that program or any other mortgage.
So have we had any individuals or families apply for this program?
Yeah, that's thank you for asking that. We're super excited. This month we have 2 families qualified, and we're hoping to close them this month for sure in the month of May. And so, like I said, with $850,000 in grant money, we're able to help 40 plus families get into a home, and we want to be able to use every penny of it.
So Matt, let me ask you, did any other local community banks in the Valley receive this grant?
I believe there are some. It is not every bank get that because they obviously have to have a relationship with the Federal Home Loan Bank. They also have to apply for that grant. We are lucky to be a member of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas. And like I said, for the last 2 years, we were awarded, last year we were awarded $1 million. This year, $850,000. And so, but what's great about the program, last year it was only $20,000 for each individual family. They increased that to $25,000. this year. So it's great. And so we want to be able to identify as many families, individuals or families to qualify for the program and be able to get them into their first time house.
Matt, so, you and I talk a lot about what we can do to help first-time home buyers. Would you recommend this as an option for those individuals? And if so, what are some of the conditions or restrictions that this has? Do you have to have a certain amount of income at the end of the year, or do you have to have so many kids? Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, so the program requires a certain amount of income that you can make. So you have to qualify within those parameters. But it's really to help folks that are on the lower end of the income, that doesn't have the ability to have a lot of money saved. And that's what we're really here to help folks in that sector in the community that normally wouldn't be able to afford to get into a home. This grant that does not have to be paid back if you stay in the house for 5 years, that can help you get into your first house.
That's amazing.
So we're super excited about it. Like I said, we actually have one of our own that qualified for the program. And then we have actually a third family that we're in the process of trying to qualify. So like I said, super excited to help 2 families get into a home through this program. And then if they don't qualify for that program, we also have other down payment assistance programs and other great programs that we can try to help families get into a house.
So when someone comes in to meet with you, or someone from your staff, obviously your staff is fully trained to ensure them or offer them the various programs. So if you have someone that walks in that's a healthcare professional, you have programs. I think I mentioned it earlier that we have the doctor's program. That was very successful. So can you tell us a little bit about that program as well?
Yeah, that's a great program that we have here at the bank. That program is geared towards medical professionals. The reason why it's specific to medical professionals, whether you're a medical doctor, a veterinarian, a dentist, you qualify for the program. But because it's such a unique profession that we try to cater to that profession to make it easy, because we can consider them our heroes, right? So we have a heroes program where you're able to get a quarter off the interest rate if you're a border patrol in the medical industry, or if you're a teacher. We also have that program. So there's so many great programs that's geared towards certain professions, like the doctors, to make it easier for them. We have a lot of doctors coming to the Valley from other states. That program is perfect for those doctors. They can actually close a loan 90 days in advance of their start date, which is great for somebody who's transferring from another state. They can settle in, get their family settled in, and then focus in on help save lives.
Yeah, that's just like the last step that they want. That's the last thing we want. Someone from Florida. I know at Doctors Hospital Renaissance, I know DHR is, they do a great job of recruiting doctors from not only Texas, but all over the country, right? And so having a program like this is another way to entice someone to come to the Valley.
Right.
And then, of course, share with them how great the food is, right? Down here, you and I know that, right, Matt?
Yep.
The food. And then, of course, we're talking about homes. We're talking about, different programs you have. What's the housing market like right now in the Valley? Are there homes available?
Yeah.
With the expansion of, SpaceX and the LNGs and advanced manufacturing, is there enough homes for individuals that are coming in from all over the country?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about throughout the United States lack of inventory, right? Because when through COVID, we have a lot of families. I think 80+% of the families were able to purchase a home with a very low interest rate, in the high 2% or even 3%. And so what they call that the lock-in effect, right? And so when a family has to make the decision, do I upgrade and spend the money to purchase a new home, and my existing interest rate on my mortgage is 2.75%, you're kind of locked in. You're like, no, that's okay. I'm going to, maybe not, make that move right now. But now these days, interest rates are, hovering around 7%. But what's great about the Valley and even in San Antonio is that construction continues to grow, which is great. And so Texas, if you look at the different cities in Texas, whether it's here in South Texas or San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, it's like one of the largest growing market in the country. And so housing starts are, still record high. We're building new homes. We have the inventory here, not like, other states where they have, they're landlocked and people are not willing to sell their house because they have such a low interest rate. So affordability plays into it as well too.
So I would assume by just what you just said that we don't have a lot of people that are what do they call that when you want to refinance your house? Do we have a lot of folks that are doing that nowadays?
So there is a lot of equity in the market right now.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if you look at the last 5 years, the homes appreciated just tremendously. And so there's a lot of equity in the marketplace. And so we are starting to see families look to refinance or get a second mortgage to tap into the equity. And so we're starting to see that. But purchases, we still see that very strong. The economy here in South Texas is super strong with the expansion of SpaceX, I think LNG, all those corporations, they're coming down here, and they continue to come down here. So, from a mortgage perspective, I'm super excited to be able to see the growth here and see the continued growth.
Yeah, I mean, we just mentioned two of the big companies. We mentioned SpaceX, the LNG folks that are going to be at the port. But I mean, we have the presence of, Homeland Security, and, we have healthcare professionals, as I referenced earlier. We just continue to grow, and you're seeing, I mean, it's amazing. I was in Brownsville earlier today, and my God, they've annexed all the way to San Benito, and they're still building homes. I mean, there are neighborhoods going up, development everywhere. I mean, that's a good sign. So I think I may have mentioned this earlier, but what do you foresee as the interest rate in 2025?
Yeah, very good question.
Yeah.
I don't have the crystal ball.
Yeah.
If I did, I'd be very rich. But no, interest rates, I think it's been up and down, right? Right now it's at 7%. Last week it was at 6.875 on the 30-year conventional. And so I see it staying steady like that for the remainder of the year. There's a lot of question marks as far as where the economy is going. So there's a lot of unknowns. And so the market really doesn't know what what to expect. And so we've seen ups and downs, but it's very little movement. So the interest rates right now from where we were a few years ago is high, but people are starting to realize, look, 6 and 7% may not be that bad. And so if I'm looking for a home, I want to invest in that because you want to start building equity in your house, right? You want to start building generational wealth.
Yes.
And so, you want to make your payment towards your mortgage and not in someone else's pocket. And so that's why it's so important to get families into home, to uplift the community, for those families to invest in their community. And it just helps the overall community just to be uplifted and continue to grow. In this marketplace.
You answered almost a question that I was going to share with you or that I wanted to ask you. So what for a first-time home buyer or someone who is thinking about either downsizing or maybe, upgrading, right? So what advice do you have for someone, maybe especially a first-time home buyer? I mean, like you mentioned, developing equity, having good credit. I mean, what are other helpful hints or tips that you could share with our audience?
Yeah, great question. So, for a first-time home buyer, you always want to make sure that your credit is where it needs to be.
So what would be a good credit to start off, Matt? I mean, for like pre-approval, is it in the 600s?
Yeah, I would say in the 600s. Okay. We have varying programs that can help for the whole spectrum of credit scores. So we're able to help a lot of folks get into a home with varying credit scores. But you want to try to stay in the 600s. And one of the great programs, and actually is the most popular program right now, is our government loan, FHA. So FHA has the lowest interest rate right now. If you look at the conventional, it's about 7%. If you look at an FHA interest rate, it's 6.125. And so that can really help make it more affordable. And so that's a great government program. If you fit into that program, you're going to get an advantage of interest rates. And they also help with credit scores. They're a little bit more lenient. So so that's actually one of the most originated, that is the most originated product in South Texas, an FHA loan. And so you may not have to pay the 7%. If you qualify for an FHA, you can pay 6 and an eighth on an interest rate on a mortgage, which is not that bad. So we have great programs to help everybody, whether it's down payment assistance. We have great programs where if you're self-employed for 1 year, we can get you into a house. So a lot of those non-traditional types of situations we're able to help folks, as well as our doctor program where, I don't know if I mentioned the doctor program, we can finance 100% of the purchase of the house with no mortgage insurance. So that's a great program that we have. And so, if anybody's interested, stop by our bank branch or stop by our mortgage office, 4500 South 10th Street, Suite 102.
Yeah. And for them to look for your car, right,
there you go.
What color is your car?
It's yellow.
Yeah, yellow. Okay. If you see the yellow car in the front, that match there.
But, so like I said, there's so many people that we can help. And we have some great lenders that can sit down with you, go through all your options, and put you in the best program for you, whether it's a purchase or refinance.
So tell me what the day in life of a lender or someone from your team. So lots of times people think that your department work just the 8 to 5, and soon as 5 o'clock comes around, they're done. But my God, you guys are networking all the time. You're working, showing homes. You're participating. You're working with some of our developers, right? And some of those that have developed housing.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about what you guys do on the weekend when it's outside the normal 8 to 5 hours?
Yeah. So, we're a bank, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have that misconception that, we just work 8 to 5.
Yeah.
But we don't. In mortgage lending, we have to be there for our partners and for our clients. And our partners work weekends. And so my team, and we're available on weekends or after hours. We have to serve our clients. For example, our doctors, right? So they're extremely busy. The only time they can speak is 10 o'clock at night. And this is a true story. There was a doctor that we helped get into a brand new house, and I think he was a surgeon. The only time he can talk was at 10 o'clock at night. And so our lenders picked up the phone and worked with the doctor to get him into his house. But it was at 10 o'clock at night. And so it's not unusual for us to do that. It's not unusual to see us out on weekends at open houses, working with our partners and developers to showcase the homes that we have for sale or they have for sale. And we try to help as many families, for us as a lender, try to help as many families get into a house as possible.
That's really good, Matt.
Yeah.
And you're not just doing this in South Texas. I mean, you and I have been, you've been in San Antonio multiple times where you've expanded your presence. I mean, it's not just with those that work closely with the bank, but I mean, you and I we met with the county judge that was interested in affordable housing. I mean, because of the work that you've been doing, I mean, you've been able to kind of reach out to other areas, right?
Yeah.
Or they're asking for your expertise, just like I'm asking for it today, right?
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that opportunity for us to, my passion is to help families get into a house. And even though, I run mortgage, I'm going to always look at opportunities, whether it's within the mortgage space or be able to work with potentially the county and the city to see what we can do to help families in the community. If we can help build affordable homes through Lone Star National Bank, that's a great opportunity for us and for families in the community. Because if you look at San Antonio, the average home price is over $300,000. There's a whole big segment that can't afford that, right? And so if we're able to have that type of partnership, we can go in and build homes, hopefully in the mid to low high 100s, and help families get into a house. That's what's really needed.
It all came from networking. I mean,
yes,
we've heard the chairman and other people at our meetings talking about relationship building, right?
Yes.
And how important it is to network.
Yes,
that's a true testament. I mean, the fact that he was able to reach out to you, the county judge, who happens to be from McAllen, which is pretty cool, right?
Right.
Saki, right? I mean, it was
County Judge Sakai.
Judge Sakai, great guy from McAllen, right?
Yeah.
But what I thought was really cool was the fact that he reached out to you because of what he had heard, your expertise, not only in the Rio Grande Valley, but where you came from before,
right?
And seeing how we could help, and that creates economic development. That's economic development. those people come to us for a loan. Hopefully they do, and
Yeah.
more than likely they will. But I think that's a true testament from the work and the reputation that you've established, that these people are able to reach out to you. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Like I said, it is really, really rewarding, and we'll continue to do that and look at different opportunities both here in this market and in San Antonio, and both markets are just thriving. And there's so many people that we can assist. There's probably more people than we can assist. Right, it's such a huge market both here in South Texas and in San Antonio. Like for example, in South Texas, it's a $8+ billion market for mortgage in South Texas, and then in San Antonio, it's more than double that. And so there's a lot of families that we can help.
Well, we're very fortunate that Lone Star National Bank has this service that they could provide. We have merchant services. Obviously, when they think of a bank, they think of, obviously the lending part of a bank. But, the fact that we have insurance and we have wealth management and we have, our mortgage department. I mean, that's awesome that, we're a full service bank. And that's really important for people to know.
It is. It actually makes my job easier when I'm out there trying to build new partnerships. And for example, in San Antonio, we partnered up with a women's group called Women's Unlimited. Right? They have several hundred members in the San Antonio area, and they actually have like 24,000 plus followers. And so that organization focuses in on small business, right? Which, as our chairman said, small businesses is our focus.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so 95% of them are small business owners. 55% of them are veterans. And so we had a great presentation there last Thursday. After that meeting, and I brought our other partners within the bank. We brought merchant services, we brought retail, we brought commercial. To your point, we have a full service type of departments that can help our clients. It's not just mortgage. And so I took the opportunity to bring them to that presentation last Thursday. We had 12 of the members apply for a mortgage right there.
Wow.
After the meeting. We also had 6 business checking accounts open that day. There was a ton of interest in small business administration loans because 95% of the members are small business owners or entrepreneurs. And then we had merchant services come, tons of questions for them because we can help them save money, right? We can help them thrive and help save money and be the financial partner throughout their growth in their business. And so that's what we want to be able to do. And so it makes my job easier because I'm able to have so many different partners within the organization support what we're trying to do. And it makes it so much easier. So it's a tremendous opportunity for us.
Well, Matt, it's certainly been a pleasure to talk to you today. And like I said, you and I have known each other. I think I'm a couple of days older than you are here. Right? And it's been fun. And certainly every time I get a chance to go visit with you, I'm always learning something different, and the interest rates or questions to ask or how to help somebody who's maybe interested in purchasing a home. So I really appreciate it. But I'm going to ask, is there something you would like to maybe share with our audience that I may have not have asked you? Is there something out there? You talked about the various programs you have. Is there anything you'd like to address our audience before we leave?
No, I think you asked pretty much everything. Like I said, we have great programs. We're here to help. If not now, in the future, we don't ever want to say no. I think, as one of the takeaways is that if you come to us, we're going to work with you, and it may not be right now. We've had many, many clients where we couldn't do a mortgage right now, but we helped them get into a position that they can't get into a house. And that's what we're focusing on, is try to help as many families as possible. And so we're not going to be, the ones that say, no, I'm sorry, we can't help you. And we say, we're not right now, but this is what we need, you and I need to do to help you get into your first house.
Yeah, I know one of the things that caught my attention with you and your team, Matt, is that you try to avoid using the word no, or you're not going to be qualified. So I appreciate that because people have come back and shared that with me. So thank you for that.
Yeah. So we take pride in that. It's just, you come to us, we're going to work with you as much as we can to help you.
Oh, good. Hey, so this has been a segment of Real Talk here at LSNB. We were joined by Matthew Dang, again, who oversees our mortgage department. I'm Julian Alvarez, and we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule or day to visit with us today. Until next time, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you on Real Talk.